Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, hi, I'm Shravanti and welcome to my channel Aquarian Diaries. It's been a hot minute since we've done any art tutorials on this channel, so I thought let's give it a try in this video. So, as you've seen in the thumbnail, we will be doing a tropical paradise in watercolor, wet on wet style. So to kick things off, here are the list of materials required for this painting. Feel free to use any color that matches as close as possible to the pigments that I've listed on the screen right now. Now to start with the sky, I'm taking clean water on my 3/4 inch wash brush and I'm wetting about 50% of this A5 shade. I'm using a huge wash brush here, but in case you don't have one, feel free to use any flat brush. Now you see me putting in the mix of azure with bright blue. Now I've just added bright blue to bring some brightness into the sky. As you've seen, the colors are being laid down on the paper wet on wet. Now I'm going to start putting in various colors. You just have to make sure that the colors you put in do not form a muddy mix. So make sure to leave some white spaces in between to allow the colors to disperse in water. There will be a few pigments that disperse much more readily than the others. Now to make some fluffy clouds, I've crumpled up a tissue paper and I'm just dabbing it onto the area where I want the clouds to be defined. So you will see that the edges of the clouds are very distinct and that would make it seem very fluffy. Towards the lower end of the cloud is where I'm adding some more blue just to soften the edges and to create a negative space so that you can estimate the volume of the cloud. A few dots and lines of purple just to add clouds that are further in the distance. After this, I leave the sky to dry completely. You can go ahead and put in some colors to denote shadows of the clouds. It's best to leave the sky less worked upon. You can find spaces where you would like to lift up some colors. But more or less that's pretty much the sky. I've left it to dry. Now that the sky is completely dry, I take my wash brush and I completely wet the remaining half of the paper. It's very necessary that we wet the paper completely when we attempt wet on wet watercolor painting so that we get beautiful gradation of the colors once they start mixing into each other. So to begin with, I am putting a mix of ultramarine blue with bright blue. Depending on the brand of watercolor you use, you may find granulation in the color mix. Up next is the beautiful teal color cobalt turquoise of the White Nights range. Cobalt turquoise is more opaque and hence the color doesn't disperse into the whites of the paper. Now for the next layer, you will see me using a mix of viridian with lemon yellow. This gives me a very light greenish tint in the third layer of the ocean. To complete the ocean, the last color I'm going to put is just a very watery mix of bright blue. In a quick second, you'll see me putting a very saturated wash and I'll quickly remove it to make it a seamless blend in the lower half of this painting. It was important to wait for the sky to dry before we attempted to paint the water because then the colors would start seeping into the sky and it would not retain that perfect horizon where the sky meets the water. Once the first layer of the ocean dries, I take very watery washes of the corresponding colors of the ocean and start drawing lines from the outer edge to the inner. I make this at very random intervals just to show the waves in the ocean. Now it's important to note that you do not want to overwork the waves at this point in time because we want this painting to be quite loose in its approach. In my painting here, I have used only two layers. But depending on how the colors show up on your paper, you may have to go a couple more. So now we again leave this second layer of the ocean to dry, and then here I'm using a mix of sap green with lemon yellow to draw the distant island in the ocean. This painting has very few elements and so it's very easy to go freehand. Once that first layer dries, I go with a little more saturated wash of the same sap green with lemon yellow and paint the island. Up next, I pre-mix some bright green, taking some bright blue and lemon yellow for this. And I start painting some random lines that gives an impression of far away ferns and shorter palm trees that can still be visible on the island. Now I'm taking a dark mix of green and indigo to paint the trunks of the palm trees that can be seen at a distance. Now I take the same mix and add in a few more dots on the island just to create some depth in the lower shrubs and the ferns. Now to paint the palm trees, I first take a light mix of the same bright green that I had pre-mixed before, and I'm just making a rough impression of the palm trees. The fun part of painting in a loose style in watercolors is how random blobs of color slowly come together to finally paint a picture. Once this layer dries, I go back with the dark sap green and indigo mix to give some more details into the palm trees. Now this doesn't mean that you absolutely have to go and paint each and every frond of the palm tree, but to give a general impression of where the most darkest shades of the palm tree are. Take your time, analyze where the shadows of the palm trees could be for this section of the painting. A little understanding on how the palm fronds bend when they sway in the wind can definitely help. Now for the rest of the video, you will just see me spend some time here, going layer by layer, darkening the palm fronds, building some more depth into the foliage on the island. Maybe a couple of birds to add some drama in the sky, but that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed this quick demonstration of this tropical paradise in watercolors. Do let me know in the comments below if you did give this a try and if you've learned something new from this wet on wet demonstration. I can't wait to meet you in the next video. If you did like this video, don't forget to drop a like, maybe a comment, subscribe and share it among your artist friends. This would help me a lot. Thank you so much. See you on the next one. Bye for now.